Hello, and I'd like to welcome you all once again here to the old schoolhouse in the village of Butterstone in Perthshire in Scotland for another one of our wee Saturday night concerts, number 88, I believe it is now. I'm beginning to lose count a wee bit. Anyway, I'd like to welcome you all. It was lovely just before I came up, I had a wee kind of look at one of the screens and I could see everybody kind of logging in. So, yeah, please leave a wee message and let us know where you're watching from. It's because there's just me and Jenny in here tonight. So, and summer has actually arrived. In fact, it's arrived with a vengeance. It was so hot today. I think I've got sunburn, and I'm feeling kind of all that weak way when you know, to go from such a cold last week to the hot heat here, and everything's going crazy. The birds are all out, the vegetables are all grown. Poor Mr. Tattyface has run ragged. Poor Duncan has run ragged, running up and down, frightening the pigeons off the vegetables. He even had his shirt off this afternoon, which wasn't a thing of beauty, to be honest with you. But anyway, I'm going to start off. These are 4 wee requests. We get wee requests and we put them in Duncan's hat and just pull them out. And so we'll start with this, and I haven't done this for a while, I don't think. So we'll just try it. It's a relatively newer song of mine. It took such a long time. It took so much sadness and pain, and all the lives of the young men, the promise of youth washed away with the rain. It was forever forgiveness. Let's walk forward, your hand in mine, and with all the beauty it gives us, failures cast to the ravage of time. Be still, my little one. Your dreams are yours to follow. Oh, you'll open your eyes to the warmth of the sun. Be still, my little one. Your dreams are your tomorrow. Oh, you'll open your eyes and a new day's begun. And we all sang together a harmony clear and so strong. We'll hear it now and forever, the promise of time and the wings of the song. And it was future, not fortune. It was peace in a clear summer sky. Old truths not forgotten, wonder willing and ready to try. Be still, my little one. Your dreams are your tomorrow. warmth of the sun. Be still, my little one. Your dreams are yours to follow. You'll open your eyes and a new day's begun. It took such a long time. It took so much sadness and pain, and all the lives of the young men, the promise of youth washed away with the rain. Was forever forgiveness. Let's walk forward, your hand in mine, with all the beauty that gives us, and failures cast to the ravage of time. Still, my little one, your dreams are your tomorrow. Oh, you'll open your eyes to the warmth of the sun. Be still, my little one. Your dreams are yours to follow. Oh, you'll open your eyes and the new day's begun. Thank you very much, and that was my wee song, Be Still My Little One, with a little bit of a different arrangement in the second verse where I had a wee senior moment, but that's all right, it's live and these things are just going to come and they just disappear again. So it's very warm in the old schoolhouse tonight. Now, those of you who have been watching the shows will have seen me playing up here with my gloves on in the middle of the winter, and we put the heating on early on, but we had to turn it off, and I don't think I actually need the wee Scottish jacket tonight up here. I'm sweating away here. Anyway, I'm going to continue with this wee song, and it's an older song of mine. Just put this guitar down. And what's the wrong guitar? It's the sun. It's the sun that's befuddled my brain today. Just not used to it, you know. All you folk that are watching from California, you must be laughing at me. You know, probably the sun, the heat that we had today is probably what you guys get in a winter night, you know, winter day. Anyway, this is an old song of mine, and I recorded this on the first record that we made as a wee independent record label a long time ago. And I remember a wonderful clarsach player called Patsy Seddon, who I met in the pub the night while I was recording, and she came along and played a beautiful little bit of clarsach on it. I think she must have only been she's now made a sort of great career for herself, but she must have just been in her early 20s, I think, you know, when she did it, and it was great fun. But anyway, we'll try it now and see how it goes. And In these tired and troubled times, it's easy to feel afraid. And the angry young man and the castles that he's made. In these long and empty days, oh, it's easy to feel a fool. And the angry young man will break every rule. But she comes to me like a high flying seagull. She comes to me like an eagle. She comes like a swan. In these tired and troubled times, it's easy to feel alone. And the angry young man, he does not know where he's going. In these long and empty days, he'll pull the curtain down. And the angry young man, he spins round and round. But she comes to me like a high flying seagull. She comes to me like an eagle. She comes like a swan. In these tired and troubled times, it's easy to be confused. And the angry young man, well, he will not be abused. In these long and empty days, he's going to get it right. And the angry young man, he's learned how to fight. You can sing that with me, go on. She comes to me like a high flying seagull. She comes to me like an eagle. She comes like a swan. We'll do that together again. That's one. When she comes to me like a high seagull, she comes to me like an eagle. She comes like a swan. Thank you very much, and that's my wee song, High Flying Seagull. And I could hear you kind of beginning to join in with me there, which is pretty cool. And that's one of the great things about this being live, you know, actually live, because you actually can get a sense of everybody in their houses, you know, all across the world, kind of all singing at the same time, you know. Some people in the morning at breakfast, or some people at night, depending on the time zone, which is great. We're going to do this wee song, and this is it's not a song that I would normally do with it as a chorus song, but I'm going to do it as a chorus song tonight, and it's got a wee story that goes with it, which I've probably told before, but I'm going to tell it again, just because so that folk know that don't know the song will know what it is, and it actually started off. I was in New Zealand doing some concerts, and I was driving down through the North Highland of New Zealand, and I needed to go to the wee boys' room. So I pulled off the road, and I stopped in this entrance to this old churchyard in a little town called Waipu, it was called. And I stopped in this churchyard, and I wandered into the churchyard, and I noticed as I was going round it, there was a big plaque on the entrance, and it was in Scottish Gaelic. And all the gravestones were all kind of in Gaelic. Some of them were in Gaelic, and some of them were just, you know, but everybody had sort of Scottish names, and they were all kind of Morag MacDonald, late of St Anne's Bay, Cape Breton, born in Assynt in Scotland, and they were all like that, and it was quite interesting. So I went into the town, and there was a wee museum, and a couple of lovely older ladies kind of told me this story about the Reverend Norman MacLeod, who had left Scotland with something like 800 of his followers. He'd fallen out with the kirk, with the church, for some reason, up in Ullapool, well, north of Ullapool, up in Assynt, and he had gone to Cape Breton in Nova Scotia, to St Anne's Bay, and they had built a church. They cut the forest down, they cut the bush down, they made wee homesteads, and they made a church, and there was a wee community there. But St Anne's Bay is brutal cold, you know, and in the winter time the bay gets frozen, and you know it's a really brutal kind of climate up there. So anyway, they were there for about 30 years, I believe, and then all of a sudden the Reverend decides to get all everybody up and to move, and he'd heard that Australia was the place to go, so he got the whole community up. They were actual boat builders. That was their trade, a lot of them. So they built their own boats down in the bay in St Anne's Bay. They built their own boats, 6 boats I think it was, and then they sailed to Australia. They didn't like Australia, so eventually they went on to New Zealand, and there was no deaths on the way. I think it was about 6 children born on the trip, but it was quite incredible, and eventually I got to play up in Cape Breton, and I went to St Anne's Bay to where they had built the ships, and I went down, and it was an amazing feeling. You could see the remains of their little houses in the woods, and so I realised that I'd been in all 3 places. I knew Assynt from being at home here in Scotland. I'd been to sort of St Anne's Bay in Cape Breton, Canada. And then I'd been in Waipu, where they ended up, you know, and where the people had made a lovely little community there. And the Reverend was right. Probably it was the right thing to do to move them all. But what a journey. So I wrote this wee song about it. It's called The Boat Builders. And the wee chorus goes, there's a land somewhere where we can build our freedom. There's a land somewhere where our children will grow strong, and if our lives should be spared, we'll need no other reason to sail on. Okay, so it's quite a complicated piece. So there's a land somewhere where we can build our freedom. There's a land somewhere where our children will grow strong, and if our lives should be spared, we'll need no other reason to sail on. It's actually to sail on. But anyway, so we'll have a wee go at it. See if you can sing the chorus with me. And all right, tatty faces. We'll get a wee bit of virtuosity from the guys as well, a wee bit of harmony. So we'll try it. And but if you ever get a chance to visit these places, go or read a little bit about the folks' journey. It's amazing. I was there on the cold Ascent Hills. I had the hunger cry, the tyrants laughing. I had the young men say goodbye to the place where their young dreams had grown. For there's a land somewhere where we can build our freedom. There's a land somewhere where our children will grow strong. And if our lives should be spared, we'll need no other reason to sail on, to sail on. We'll try that chorus again now that you know what book we're going to be singing. Here we go. There's a land somewhere we can build our freedom. There's a land somewhere where our children will grow strong. If our lives should be spared, we'll need no other reason to sail on, to sail on. Oh, I stood on the shores at St. Anne's, watched them building boats to trade the oceans. I saw the preacher raise his hand, saying, children, it's time to move on. For there's a land somewhere where we can build our freedom. There's a land somewhere where our children will grow strong. If our lives should be spared, we'll need no other reason to sail on. Make a better noise, don't you? To sail on. Oh, I watched from the white Waipu sands. I saw them drop their sails and throw their anchor. I saw the old men shake each other's hands, saying, brothers, now I think we are home. For there's a land somewhere where we can build our freedom. There's a land somewhere where our children will grow strong. If our lives should be spared, we'll need no other reason to sail on, to sail on, faded away. No, actually, we'll do it on your own. That's what we'll do. I think you should sing it on your own. It might be a good idea. Try it on your own. Don't look so scared. You'll be all right. Here we go. There's a man. Beautiful. To sail on, fade away. To sail on. Well done. That's. I was getting the vibe here in Butterstone. I can hear you all doing the three-part harmonies. It's brilliant. That's my wee song called "The Boat Builders," and go and investigate the story of the Reverend Norman Cloud. It's quite fascinating, you know. But anyway, well done. That was brilliant. And it's a bit of a complicated chorus for a sing-along. We'll do more of a sing-along song now, and. So I'll just get my wee tenor guitar. This was a request, and this was a poem which I put to music years ago. It's a great poem that was written by I think she was called the Lady of Lors or something. It's called the Highland Crofter's Lament, or The Land is All the Mercresses. And so I just got the poetry. I moved the poem around a wee bit and turned one of the verses into a chorus, and so we'll do that now. And basically, the area up around Loch Tay was owned by the Marquis of Breadalbane, and his big Taymouth, the big castle at Taymouth at the end of and he owned everything that you could see. He owned all the way to the west coast, as far as you could see, the mountains of the west coast, and all over here, all over by Butterstone and that. And he owned absolutely everything that moved. He owned around here, the Marquis of Breadalbane. And this is a wee bit of a kind of tongue-in-cheek poem about the whole thing, because there was. It was the Lady of Lors made a prediction. Yeah, nobody knows who wrote the song, but the Lady of Lors made a prediction that the Marquis of Breadalbane would leave Taymouth Castle with all his belongings on a donkey. And that's actually what happened. The whole kind of Breadalbane dynasty collapsed. I don't know whether it was gambling or whatever it was, but it's now owned by it's now been turned into a golf course, I think. Anyway. We'll try it. And this. So the chorus is easy. I will do the chorus a couple of times to begin with, and okay, here we go. This is what you sing. Play some. For Kenmore, wrong key. Kenmore to Benmore, the land is all the Mercresses, it's all the Mercresses, the land is all the Mercresses. Frae Kenmore to Benmore, more. The land is all the mercresses, it's all the mercresses. The land is all the mercresses. That's what you sing? Frae Kenmore to Benmore, the land is all the mercresses, it's all the mercresses. The land is all the mercresses. Frae Kenmore to Benmore, the land is all the mercresses, it's all the mercresses. The land is all the mercresses. The mossy house, the heathery knowes, Delca Bonny Park is his, it's all the mercresses. The land is all the mercresses. The beardy goats, the towsy stoats, and all the braxy carcasses, it's all the mercresses. The land is all the mercresses. Here we go with the chorus, everybody. Frae Kenmore to Benmore, the land is all the mercresses, it's all the mercresses. The land is all the mercresses. Frae Kenmore to Benmore, the land is all the mercresses, it's all the mercresses. The land is all the mercresses. Crofter's rent, the tinker's tent, and Ilka Colley's bark is his, it's all the mercresses. The land is all the mercresses. The moorcock's crow, the piper's blow, the gilly's day's work is his, it's all the mercresses. The land is all the mercresses. Make a bit of noise, here we go. Frae Kenmore to Benmore, the land is all the mercresses, it's all the mercresses. The land is all the mercresses. Oh, Kenmore to Benmore, the land is all the mercresses, it's all the mercresses. The land is all the mercresses. The fish that swim, the birds that skim, the fir, the ash, the birch is his, it's all the mercresses. The land is all the mercresses. Yon castle horsey, big and braw, yon diamond crusted dirk is his, it's all the mercresses. The land is all the mercresses. Frae Kenmore to Benmore, the land is all the mercresses, it's all the mercresses. The land is all the mercresses. Frae Kenmore to Benmore, the land is all the mercresses, it's all the mercresses. The land is all the mercresses. That's why you sing it on your own. Frae Ken. Hame, the burning shame, the factor's dirty work is his, it's all the mercresses. The land is all the mercresses. The poor folks vexed, the lawyer's text, yon smirking legal shark is his, it's all the mercresses. The land is all the mercresses. Frae Kenmore to Benmore, the land is all the mercresses, it's all the mercresses. Land is all the mercresses. Frae Kenmore to Benmore, the land is all the mercresses, it's all the mercresses. The land is all the mercresses. The land is all the mercresses. The world is all the mercresses. The land is all the mercresses. Thank you very much. So that's my wee version of that wonderful poem with my wee tune called the Highland Crofter's Lament. And there's some great words in it, you know. They're just the Ilka Colley's bark is his. I hope you understood it. It's in quite sort of strong Scottish dialect, but every collie's bark, the dog, the collie's bark is his. And the the moorcocks crow, the pipers blow. He even owns the air coming from the bagpipe player. There you go. There you go. You can't own much more than that. So anyway, thank you very much for joining in. I hope you've enjoyed the wee Saturday night thing. I know it's a lovely probably night for everybody. So you're probably out having a wee barbecue. I always like to take this wee time to thank all the folk all the folk who are still at the front end. There's still a lot of crazy stuff happening around the country. You know, all the NHS workers and the people that are having to deal with life, looking after us all as we slowly kind of unwind out of this pandemic. And you can sort of see the end in sight now, you know. But we just all have to be careful. And but thanks to all of you who are guiding us along the safe path and taking on that responsibility for us. Tickets are now on sale for my live 90, which is my other wee live show, which I do, which is an hour show, and I do my wee documentary movie. So you can get them now. They're on www.dougiemacleanlive.com, and you can go buy a wee ticket for that. It's in a couple of weeks' time. And I'll see you next weekend. And so you all take care of yourselves. I hope you're all looking after each other, and we continue to look after each other as we come out of all this, and stay cheery. I mean, I think it's quite hard now to kind of get back to some kind of, it's going to be quite a challenge for us all to kind of get back to kind of normal after all this, you know. But anyway, you all take care of yourselves, look after each other, and smile like a tatty face. Thank you for tonight, and I'll see you next week.